there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I review books and bookish things. I try to upload on Thursdays and alternating Tuesdays, with a few surprises sprinkled in here and there. So today, since it is late December, I thought we would do a wintry themed book. Today's book is Blankets, a graphic novel by Craig Thompson. So, let's get into this big one. So this book came out in 2003. It has a 4.6 on Goodreads. I would give it a solid 5 stars. It is amazing and wonderful, and I love it. It's a graphic novel, so while it is incredibly thick for a graphic novel, it actually reads up really quick. I think I read it in about an hour, thereabouts. The reason this book showed up on my radar, actually, is that my partner, at his work, they have Fox News playing a lot of times with the sound off, and their Fox News was calling for this book to be banned in Florida, just in general. So I bought it to find out what all the fuss is about, because I truly believe that the books that they're banning, those are the books you should be reading, because what information are they trying to keep from us? So this one is a coming-of-age story. The central theme is blankets. So we have blankets of snow. We have a girlfriend's quilt. It's a memoir, and it's a graphic novel memoir. The author, Craig, talks about reconciling his faith with his dreams, and how Christian faith and purity culture essentially shape who he becomes in a very interesting way. This story feels relatable, and it feels universal, even though my experiences aren't exactly what shows up in this book. It still feels relatable. Like, I can easily project myself onto the neutral mask of the main character. Like, he does a very good job of neutralizing himself. That sounds awful. That sounds like he's going to unalive himself. But turning this memoir from an active main character into a neutral mask, if that makes sense. Like, he does a really good job of turning himself into a neutral mask and making himself relatable for the sake of the story. Craig falls for Raina at a winter church camp and spends his winter break with her. He convinces his parents to let him spend part of his winter break at her house, that he actually, as a teenager, as a high schooler, goes to his girlfriend's house. He doesn't lie, but he doesn't tell them that she's his girlfriend. And his mom's like, yeah, we wouldn't have let you go if we'd known she was your girlfriend. But okay. Their relationship deepens, and it's a very juvenile relationship, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that it's a first love. It's their affection and their feelings for each other deepen, but life comes crashing in around the edges. Essentially, the two characters are they're high schoolers. They're very childlike in a lot of ways. They have the bodies of adults, but they still have the minds of children. They've essentially built themselves a blanket fort, if you will, and life comes crashing in on them from all sides as everything comes crumbling to the end. So for Christmas, she made him a quilt. She made him a blanket. And when they break up, because they have to, they're teenagers, it's just not gonna work. They're in high school. They aren't the people who they're meant to become yet. They're not fully formed people. They're still growing, they're still developing, and that's okay. And sometimes people can grow together, and that's great when that happens, but more often than not, it just doesn't. And in an act of catharsis, he burns her gifts, everything but the blanket she made for him. It's a story of a painful heartbreak of young love that cannot progress. It's the story of pain and growing up and of facing the unknown. And it ends with hope, because you have the chance to grow and to become who you're meant to be. it's teenagers. Teenagers are filled with raging hormones. So the characters have sex. Oh no. They're not the first teenagers to have sex. They're not going to be the last teenagers to have sex. Okay, so the main characters have sex, and it's a graphic novel. So you see naked body parts. Okay, the characters are in high school, and while you don't have to teach the book, like it doesn't have to be taught, it doesn't have to be on the curriculum, the idea of banning it just because there's naked body parts in it, in a non... Okay, so the characters are having sex. Like, it's panels of them getting disrobed. But it's not in a sexy way. Like, it's not pornographic. It's just kind of... It's kind of like in the Watchmen graphic novel. They include Dr. Manhattan's penis, because if you made him a Ken doll, it would look weird. Well, this is the same thing with the art style that he's using. It would look weird if they didn't have parts, and it's not like up close and anatomical. It's contour line drawings. Like it's not dirty. And by the time kids get to high school, they've seen worse. They've doodled worse. They've done worse. Like, you don't have to teach this as part of the curriculum, but to ban it just seems wrong, just because there's body parts that, frankly, kids should know about, if we're being honest. That everybody's got parts. Some people's parts are different from other people's parts. It happens. Comprehensive sex education is very important for a reason. Maybe if we had it, we wouldn't be banning books that talk about this. Maybe we could talk about protection, like read this in class and do a thing on protection. It seems silly to ban this book that's about so much more than that. That's such a tiny, tiny part of the story, that it's really about the relationship and growing the relationship and progressing of the relationship to the point where it can't progress anymore. It's reached its end and they're clinging on to it by their fingernails, trying to keep it from ending. That's worth telling. That's worth knowing. That's worth reading. And okay, they have body parts. Everybody has body parts. So I think it's stupid to be banned. I don't think it ever actually got banned. Have you read Blankets? Have you read any really good graphic novels this year? What's your take on coming-of-age stories? What do you think about coming-of-age? I've heard some people... I've been to a bookstore with people, and they flip through books on the table, and they say, "Oh, I'm so tired of coming-of-age." And I'm like, not me. I enjoy it. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fabulous winter and a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.